Hello everybody, this is ZigZagZog coming to you from somewhere in this world, and we're back to continue our playthrough of Empire Total War featuring Darthmod in the 40 unit save version. And we left off with an attack ahead of us, so we get to start this episode with a nice little battle. Our forces landed at Patras, and we are going to try and kick Venice out of this province. The battle meter says it's in our favor, and when you look at the units, as we kind of pointed out last time, I think it's going to be extremely in our favor because it's heavily garrison line infantry and firelock armed citizenry, and we can hopefully stand up to that with our eyes closed. So let's get down there on the battlefield. It'll be a nice warm-up for hopefully some other kind of battle that we may be facing that'll be a little tougher, possibly up in Sweden, who knows. But let's get down there. We'll see you on the battlefield. All right, here we are on the battlefield. It looks like their deployment zone, a big chunk of it, so most of it's in the city, so they may be working their way through cities to get to us. If you recall, they do not have any artillery pieces, no mortar pieces, nothing, and guess what? We do. We have a pair of batteries here. So we're going to set up on the map, and we'll come back once the setup's all done, and we'll see if we can't make this happen quick. Okay, we are set up. Put all the artillery for us in the center. It gave us the best little rise, and I think we're just barely on the crest, so we have some pretty good view of the battlefield in the distance. So hopefully that'll help us out with that placement. Just because they are all together in the middle, we put the pikemen that we have available right behind to help with any charges that may go against the artillery. We have 4 full-strength regiments, 2 on either side of the artillery batteries, and then backing them up are some of our battle-worn and depleted units on either side, a couple regiments there and 1 in the center. So depending on which way they attack, left or right, we can fluctuate and help support along with our general back here. And then our cavalry off by itself over here, we'll see if they can't find a way to get snuck around depending on where they appear here. If they appear in town, we should be able to sneak around just fine. If they appear right in front of us here, they may get noticed and we may have to react. So we'll see. Let's get this battle started. And they're pretty far in the back. We'll let the cannon just auto fire and pick out the targets in the distance. Wow, these first few shots are nicely blobbed. They haven't formed their lines yet. They're trying to scramble right now and form up. Unfortunately, the unit in the back that likes to hide behind the fences, he's moving forward also. So we'll keep our eye on them as they build some sort of coordinated offense, perhaps. Process of making that advance, they're getting pounded. Here we have the garrison line infantry of theirs moving forward, followed by the firelock armed citizenry, even less organized than the garrison line infantry. These ragtag guys are heading into the big unknown as far as they're concerned. All they know is there's cannon firing at them. Wow. There's a hit. Reminds me of a time I was able to visit the Gettysburg battlefield and able to walk the walk of Pickett's charge up and down the hills, in sight of the line in the distance, or where the line was in the distance, and then dipping out of sight of the line in the distance as you just keep advancing. Of course, I had the benefit of doing that without being fired upon. But it gave a nice feel of what this is like, advancing under fire. Let's just take a peek over here. Is anyone breaking off to go towards the cavalry? Not at the moment, not yet. I think what we're going to do is run the cavalry back here. See if we can stay unnoticed in the process, and then we'll be able to help in with some rear charges anywhere where they decide to get stubborn. Okay, they are working over to both sides. At first I thought they were going to all mass on the one side, but it looks like they're going to maneuver to spread out to all parts of the line. Fun of getting down at battle level at this height is the smoke, the smoke of a battle. Had the pleasure of being to several Civil War reenactments, and that's one thing you do notice. Yes, it may be a reenactment. I know it's not real, but boy, the smoke that can be generated sometimes in these reenactments to get the feel how hard it is to see at times can be amazing. And that's why sometimes I just like to park down low and get the vibe of battle. Now we do have a unit back here that seems to be heading off in a slightly, we're going to have to keep our eye on them, almost like it was hinting at going towards the cavalry. And we're starting to get close up from them, so I think we're going to switch to canister, start helping fire get directed on at least one battery. Keep the other battery long distance oriented. We have our backup troops ready to maneuver, and they may be trying a little end run over here, so just in case, let's get these guys moved over here now. We'll get them ready to fire at will. In fact, we'll run them, and then we'll bring our extra reserve unit in the center over to support. Straight on this side, right into the canister fire. Whoa. Hit them hard. Hit them hard. This guy's decided to not worry about the infantry. Let's get our cavalry moving up closer. I have no problem charging into armed citizenry, even if they stop routing. They're kind of like militia in that respect to my cavalry charges. Yeah, and we're repulsing them at every turn right at the moment. I don't expect any major difficulties. In fact, we'll switch back to long shot now. So we're going to hit this armed citizenry on the flank first. Although we'll make sure the cannon fire is not directed there. First charge to knock a unit out. Oh, they are shattered, so we don't even need to head over that direction. Let's just do some garrison line infantry. We're heading a little more into their front, though, so we may take some hurt. Let's find out if we can survive this charge. Cannon pointed away. Okay, they were not able to stop. Our charge is going to hit them hard. So not only do we have the benefit of artillery, we have the benefit of cavalry. Let's follow through on the charge and just hit right through this line, and the attack on our left side is going to be ended here. Shattered and shattered. So we're going to head back to see if we can't help over on this side, and before we even get there, the battle is over. And since it's a city battle, we don't need to continue and run anybody down, and we get ourselves a heroic victory on the first battle of this episode. We kind of figured it would be, but it's nice to get your feet wet at the beginning of an episode, and hopefully something more difficult is up ahead. Yeah, wow, we only lost 35 men. Amazing. Take that, Venice. Take that, Venice. Let's take a look at our army and see if we have the ability to do any more healing. We have plenty of funds to spend for that purpose. So now that that battle's over, we're going to continue and just kind of take a look around the map. See what we have to take advantage of. I know we have our fleet that will eventually pick us up from over here. I think we'll sit there for a turn. We got to make sure we can move out and public order isn't going to go crazy. Well, now that they've sent a unit, it looks like down here to kick us out, we're going to still blockade the port. Yeah, they just sent some random little army piece down there, line infantry. I doubt they're going to have a great army in Tripoli either. Their biggest army is probably at sea right now, headed who knows where. So while we're here, actually, before I start going around, let's jump back into the city itself and get some things repaired. In fact, while we're here, we'll do some income upgrades, farm upgrades, and that should be about it. Small little province, but we'll take it. It gets us right next now to the Ottoman Empire, one of our trade partners. Okay, we did have a rake on the move, and we're going to continue moving that rake up towards Sweden via Prague. So we'll head off in that direction. Let's see, is there a best way to move across these rivers through here? So imagine if we stay on this side of the river, up through here, we'll be able to get up here and then cross over to Sweden.
Ik ben onderweg. Ik hou me gedijs.
All right, we also have a rake here parked off in Paris. I don't know exactly where to send this one. You know where I'm going to send this rake is at some point, it won't be anytime soon, I don't think, we're going to be at war with Britain. So this rake is going to start heading over that direction, so we at least have some eyes over here for when that eventuality happens. Where can I send them so we can get them across? We are building some fourth rates here, I believe. No, we are not. Well, we are now. So we're going to send our rake over to that port, so when those fourth rates are built, we have a way to get him over to the UK. And he's in the port itself, so that's good. All right, our rake has landed down this way too. We're taking a peek at, we're getting a fair look at the army in Mysore. Why don't we see if we can't infiltrate? We'll see if that's possible to get a real good look and count perhaps of the army in here. And we will try it. It's only 61%. Let's see if we have a better chance maybe in the army standing outside. 53%? No, that's not any better. You're a low leveler. We just got you over here. So let's see if we can build you up this way. Is it easier over here to infiltrate? Oh yes, much better. I think it's better to start out slow, start out easy to build up those skills, and then we'll see if we can't get to some of the more important armies.
Ik bespioneer.
There we go, successful. And finally, we have an army on the march here. Let's see what the infiltration looks like here. 77%. We're going to give it a shot.
Zoals u wenst.
And he was successful. Eventually, we'll want to get a peek in New York because that's one of our provinces we need for victory. But for now, I don't mind taking a peek at the Iroquois to see how they're building up their army. And it's growing fast, even with one territory. Alright, don't see any other movement we need to take care of, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over, I'm guessing, to the Americas. We got a lot of money to spend. I'll take a quick look in the continent, but you'll probably, I'll probably be cutting over to when we get to the Americas, because that's where I think we have the most funds to spend and upgrade for our economy. Before we get to the Americas, though, one thing I'm going to do in Copenhagen, I'm going to upgrade our drill school here, so in case I do need to retreat this army, because we're overwhelmed by quite a few more forces than I expected when we headed over here. If I need to come back, then we'll have the ability to recruit some of the units I would like to help expand this army and strengthen this army for the actual assault on Sweden. Alright, we'll kind of start in the north in the Americas and just scroll down. I guess I could jump around a lot more and hit more key and do the math and figure out what's the upgrades that'll help us the most. But in the end, our income's great. We're going to get to all of them pretty quickly, I do believe. So we're just going to start in a general pattern so I don't miss too many. So I expect with all these farms and whatnot, we're going to experience some nice growth here. Oh, this one is ours also. I often forget that, yes, we did take over Montreal, so let's not forget Montreal. And we start heading down into Upper Louisiana with our growth. And some of these farms we're able to hit a lot because the upgrade is only about 700 compared to some of the plantations where the cost is much higher. Like this, 4,500. There you go. You're not going to get very far with a lot of those upgrades. And we'll upgrade the port so that everything we've enhanced up in this area has a port to get out of. In fact, speaking of ports, this should finish it off with this upgrade right here. And we've spent our funds. All right, one quick look around, make sure there's no units I need to move, and then we'll hit on the next turn. All right, that is it. We're actually forecast to make over 28,000 next turn, barring any surprises. So I think I'm very happy with our current crop of ministers here. We got another 7 turns with them. So here we go. Take our turn. See you on the other side. All right, we have completed some research. Government by consent is now ours. We'll take a look down in there in a moment. Our successful agent missions that we know about. We had several. And let's go take a look down in research. Make sure if that's pretty much the choice. Well, actually what I want to do first, I think, is joint stock companies allowing us to build commercial basins. So that is actually what I want to do first before we worry about our next level of upgrade to modern universities. There we go. It's in Utrecht, and we will change our research there. Construction report, lots of farms growing for us. And we have a new nation destroyed. Venice! What happened? This nation has been destroyed, its home region having fallen into enemies' hands. So, what do you know? I guess we had to hold the home nation long enough. It didn't just automatically fall. So that's a good thing, because actually, let's go make sure. Actually, their navy had been down this way. Yeah, and it's no longer sitting off anywhere. What happened to their territory in Tripoli? What has it become? I'm curious about how that works. And it's Great Britain. It fell to Great Britain, apparently. So there you go. We have no more attacking against Venice to be done. That frees up our navy tremendously over here. And we can go pick up this army once the city gets under control. So let's park our fleet over here. And let's take a look at public order. It's kind of close to being able to move out of there. In fact, I'm actually going to keep it there the one more turn so that the last few units can be replenished. Let's see if there's anyone else that we didn't quite get fully done yet. There's a couple more that need a little bit more replenishing. That's one thing about the replenish button. If they already have a plus on it, as if they're being replenished, and then you're in battle and they lose even more soldiers, you actually have to take the replenish button totally off, unlike what I did. If you just replenish again on top of what's already marked, it doesn't necessarily pick up those units that you lost in the prior battle. I hope that made sense to what I was saying. So if I wanted to get everybody last turn when I upgraded this army, I should have taken everybody off replenishment and then highlighted everybody and replenished again. Then it would have gotten everybody up to 100%. So we'll hang out there. There's no rush at the moment. Well, I guess you could argue there is a rush, because I wouldn't have to build an army up in Sweden otherwise. One thing that happens, I did not notice where this army that was over here moved. I don't recall seeing them move during the mid-turn. You know, sometimes I'm just not the most observant. I feel it's important, though, to find out where they are before we make any kind of move against Stockholm. Now we do have an army here still finishing up its replenishment. Not too far to go, but it does mean with the Russian army having moved out and destroying, we got to reblockade here so Sweden doesn't quick build some ships on us. We do have some repairs needed in this navy. I think it's only these 2 ships that might need some repairing. So let's take these 2 back to port and get them fixed up. And there we go. I'm thinking what we're going to do. I don't know what direction is the best to try and move out to gain sight of them. I think just to be safe, I'm going to loop around this way, kind of in the path that the Russian army took. I don't want to get in a position where 2 armies could end up fighting us and reinforcing and really being vastly outnumbered. So we're going to head down this way first. We're wreaking havoc along with the Russians here on their economy. They got a lot of fixtures to build. Okay, then we'll kind of loop around up this way unless we gain sight of them again to see if we can't then get back up to Stockholm. We have a rake down here that we just recently moved. Here he is. We'll get him headed up that way to hopefully help us out also. Oh, there's bridges all over, so it doesn't matter which direction we go exactly. We don't have to worry about being on the right side of the river as long as we got bridges. Alright, since we're in the business of moving rakes, let's see if our ships have finished over here. Oops, and they have not. I think there's one more turn to go before those are built yet. So we'll keep that in the back of our minds. But speaking of 4th rates, or that having that remind me of 4th rates, I know we probably can get some more under construction down here on this port in the south of Spain. There we go, Cadiz. All right, and we do have this gentleman that's landed on the coast of France a little while ago, and we can get him moving. I just can't remember what school we decided to send him to. Is it right here in Bordeaux? Is that why we sent him down there? So let's figure that out. Yeah, I think it is Bordeaux, because we could use some help right there. Yeah, that takes 12 turns off that research, so that was worth it. And we don't need this ship to be sitting here anymore. It's a 5th rate that we'll send back to the Americas. And there we go. One thing I'm going to do, since we have tons of money, and we're still building our economy, so I think we can actually afford to really go aggressive down here in India, with perhaps with some recruitment. Might not be a bad idea. So we have no grenadiers anymore available. In fact, we can only own 2 at a time. Who knew that, huh? Oh, we got these other grenadiers. These are specialized, the best grenadiers. So let's get back here. We can recruit some more grenadiers. Let's go see what our army looks like and see what we might need the most. We do have a couple cavalry. We do have a couple artillery, even one of the newer 12-pounders. So we kind of could use our some more infantry and some more cavalry in my mind. So we're going to stock up on some of the infantry. We'll build a couple of grenadiers and then just some VOC line infantry this time, and then next time perhaps a couple more cavalry, maybe even one of them being a dragoon. We'll see. And income, even after building those units, is still in good position. Let's take a look here at ships. I'm thinking navy wise, I may just go ahead and recruit one more 5th rate for down here. Just to bolster up our blockade force up this way. Let's take a quick peek at our fleets, where they've arrived. One in the Americas.
Voorbereiden.
A couple of our fourth rates to bolster our fleet. That's what's arrived here. Oh, it arrived far to the north, so I don't think it can even reach our fleet, or can it? Barely.
Orders.
Yeah, we got a couple fourth rates, admirals fifth rates, 4 fourth rates now. Okay, so that's good down here. And we have a new port that emerged. Let's go find out where. On Hispaniola. What is the other port? Is a trade port, is that correct? Yeah, so we have a trade port, so we might as well go with a fishery down here. We do have a shipyard, if I do recall. No, somewhere I think we have a shipyard, so let me find that down here somewhere. So I'm wrong. Everything has been converted to a trading port. Every other port I checked out and looked at. So to be quite honest, I think just so we have one in this theater, we're going to go with a shipyard. And what is this little vessel from Genoa heading for? Nothing huge, not a big threat, so we'll survive wherever it goes. I guess with the remaining funds then, we're going to continue our upgrades and builds. Actually, I want to start out with the... yeah, we found that one out. We're going to start out with the remaining building in France that I found while I was scanning around earlier. And we are able to upgrade this building right here, our Weaver's Workshops. I don't think there's anything else on the continent we have to worry about. Take that back. We got the trading port to upgrade. And pretty much everything left is pretty much schools or redundant buildings in cities that we already have upgraded. Those are the last things to go or get upgraded at this point. So let's head back to the Americas, and we're going to do some massive upgrading over there with our remaining 14,000. Alright, we'll start down here in French Guiana, upgrading the mine, upgrading the port, and our money goes fast with these major upgrades. We'll do a sugar plantation or sugar warehouse now. And it leaves us enough to do this port. And 1,800 is all that's left, so maybe some farms. We don't really need a national observatory anymore. We got tons of gentlemen. We'll just do that. And we're about done. So let's head back over here. I think that's all. I'll do a quick peek around, and then we'll hit our next turn. Just a quick note, if you remember before, we had Venice with some bankruptcy issues, as we thought. That eventually dropped off, and we are increasing our income in Venice. Just as a side note for anybody who might have been curious when we mentioned that in, I think, a previous episode. And we have a little healing to do on this army in Venice since I'm here. And we can afford a little bit of it, not the rest of it. Brings us down to 63 remaining. All right, our income is due to be 27,000 next turn. Let's get on with that next turn. We'll see you on the other side. All right, we got some rakes with some more successful missions for us. They're still embedded. What do we have here? Recruitment report. Some fourth rates have come on board, and our recruiting down in India. Look at that construction report. Look at that. Can't wait to see how that helps us. Of course, we're also spending and building. That's what you call bending. That's building and spending combined. So that is going to eat in. We're getting all this new income, but at the same time, we're still building military and navy. So that kind of cuts down on our growth that way. But it allows us to keep building, especially for what we're going to need in India. We got some fleets arriving. Let's take a quick look at where they are. Okay, down in India. Oh, our first fourth rates have arrived. In fact, I'm just going to send them right up here to where we have a navy that we're blockading in.
Aye, aye.
Yeah, we're going to help bolster that blockade by sending them over here.
Zijn die bevelen, kapitein?
There we go. Alright, and the other navy to have arrived. We have that lone fifth rate that escorted that gentleman over. So we'll combine here. Well, I guess we aren't able to quite make it, but it should be in reinforcement range even if he doesn't quite make it. So he's not. It's not as if he's alone. Yep. All right. And the one thing I did see is up here in Sweden, they made a slight mistake, and it might be a fun little way to end this episode. So unless there's a follow-up army within reinforcement range, I think we have something that we can handle here. They have one piece of artillery. They do have some cavalry and light cavalry, and then some regular line infantry. So it could be a good little battle here for us. We have our grenadiers. We have not so much. So we're definitely outnumbered by their cavalry, but we do have the ability for the square formation to help us out. And I'm just kind of taking it slow to make sure there's no secret army reinforcing them that popped up, and I do not see it. We're going to make the attack. Alright, definitely in our favor because we outnumber 54-56 to 23-96. The only difference is they have some nice quality units, but boy do we outnumber them just about 2-1. So we'll see you down on the battlefield. Alright, so it's fairly level, fairly flat kind of field of battle here, and they're right in front of us. I'm going to keep artillery right front and center. As I often do, I do not have the pikemen to set right behind them. What I will use to kind of protect the artillery pieces are the grenadiers here. And then I'll finish the rest of the setup. We'll come back and take a quick look. Alright, we are done. The cavalry is set up with the grenadiers behind. Like we said, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regiments off to the side. We have our Waldeck infantry at the very end of the line in square formation in case those cavalry units are trying to flank us down here. We got 2 regiments afoot in reserve. Same pretty much picture on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regiments. This time with the Scots in square formation on the flank. 2 backup line infantry units to bolster the line in reserve here, and our 1 regiment of horse out on the flank on the left. That is it. Nothing else special to go on. Let's find out where their artillery is. If they leave it exposed, you know what I like to do. If not, it'll be targeted by the artillery. And they are front and center, so we're just going to go right at them with our shots initially and keep an eye on their cavalry movement. We did take out 1 gun in the first volley already, so that's a good start. Except the cavalry is charging straight in. So let's quick canister fire. And they veer off, and they stop, unfortunately for them, instead of continuing their charge. I was ready to move up with the grenadiers, didn't need to after all. We have more of the light horse moving forward. They're not quite into canister range, but they did take some damage from the canister shots. We're going to have to watch over here. We're going to bring in support here right in the center. For melee, let's go melee charge. As our cavalry charge into our line is doing some bad stuff to us. This side, however, did not end up being successful. keeping everybody on canister shot as they're charging the center hard on this one. And our extra support from the reserve units are helping to push back these guys. I think what we have to do now is we're just going to put both regiments to fix his line back up and get them ready to fire. They had their chance to charge on in. Oh, but the canister just ended that possibility. Some more regimental horse running in towards the artillery, but they're doing it in front of our line infantry so they can get shot at in the process. We need canister fire right there. Our grenadiers to come out now. Bad news for us, we did let them close in on one of our artillery regiments. Okay, they are not in canister range anymore. We're going to go back and target the regiment, the horse. And it is time for us to get some more support over here since they're deciding to melee attack our line here, and it doesn't seem to be a threat down in the end, out of square formation. In fact, we need to get more soldiers on the way. In fact, we're going to bring a little charge from the general to try and break this thing up. Get our artillery units out of there, at least the men out of the melee, since their guns, they may be able to go back to their guns once we've solidified our hold over here. We're going to bring the general back again. Actually, we'll bring our general down the line. And reset the line over here. What happened? That enemy general killed. That's good news. I was afraid it was mine when I saw that pop up over to the side, because we are using our general. We're being aggressive with our general today. But it's time to bring him back. Get our lines reformed up here. Bring back our reserves. And they are folding. What do we have out here? Some line infantry going the long way around. Time to bring our cavalry into the mix. It kind of has been forgotten. I think it's time to bring this part of the line forward. Along with the reserves. The Scots don't need to be in square formation either. Let's hurry up this run. Bring our cavalry out. Line is breaking all over, so let's start running some units down. In fact, we even have, we'll run down this regiment of horse here, put our cannon back on them, and bring our cavalry over. Like, let's direct both artillery units. I know I have a habit of mixing cavalry and artillery badly, don't I now? When I'm not thinking. Artillery to support this last burst on the flank over there, and then we are going to make our move against the artillery pieces here with our cavalry. I advise getting that unit before they fire. And there they go. Lines folding every which way now. I didn't have them on auto fire, the one unit, but now they are. That's corrected. Let's end this battle with a rear charge. From the cavalry. And we'll bring our general back out to help run them down. And cannons, it's time for you to be silenced. And that, I don't see any more active units. Yeah, right there, we're about to charge into them. Ooh, we've taken some damage from that fire. But not too much. And that should be the last units that I have seen. Yes, it is. End battle. I'm going to continue for the moment just to run down as many as we can because this is not a city battle. They will be able to retreat. And we'll come back after the running down is all done and see how we did. Alright, and we ended up with a close victory, as they have called it. Let's go take a look at the results. Alright, we lost 768 versus our 1865. They had the ability to escape with 531, so not many are left. And they retreated, and we probably will not give much chase at the moment, although let's see how far we can move. Now we can't get into any kind of city or anything, so we'll kind of withdraw to this point, raid whatever trade is able to come through this measly road here, and get ourselves healed up. I think I will, just in case there's another significant army out there. See if we can't do a little recruiting here. And we'll see. I think we could, as we saw in that battle, a little more cavalry could not hurt us. And one of dragoons. There we go. And before we wrap it up, we have repaired ships over here. We're going to send them back over to our blockade in Sweden. And it's telling me we have some more damaged ships over here still. Let's see if we can figure out which ones they are.
Zijn de orders, kapitein?
There's one of them.
Orders, vangen.
Another one.
Wacht tot nadere orders.
Another one. Some of these just aren't losing any guns, but they just have some slight damage, so we might as well get them repaired while we can, while there's nothing going on over here. And I think the last two are the ones we repaired. That's it. Let's send them back.
Hechte zeilen. Wacht tot nadere orders.
And we have the funds, and they're repaired. We have our new fourth rates here, and while I'm thinking about it, we're going to get two more built. There we go. Because I saw somewhere on the map during this turn the British Navy go by with a full stack of 20. I don't know the quality of the ships. Couldn't look at them while we're mid-turn as they're sailing by, but that made me realize maybe we got to keep working on this Navy. So what we're going to do at this point is we are going to call this mission right now. We still got money to spend. We'll finish up with that at the beginning of next turn and wrap up any loose ends before we get back into this. I hope y'all enjoyed the mission. We had a couple little battles we were able to squeeze in there for y'all. I think we're still making progress. I think we're getting the sense that things are calming down on the continent at last, and it's time to start a big push over in India. That is our next theater where we need to get majorly aggressive. So as armies free up over here, we got one main one up in Sweden, and we may be able to get these armies down here in the south moving over to India to bolster our forces over there so we can build up a little quicker. We got remnants all over the place, a little bit left down here in Algiers that we can get on ships. So we'll start gathering up and starting to focus on India, and hopefully not forget here about Sweden and finish this threat once and for all up in Sweden. So that's the plan. That's what we're looking at coming up in the future episodes. Hit me a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, so you don't miss any future episodes, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it.